Another tier list? Did I make that? Oh my god, all these characters. What's for this time death proof? This is messy. Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna go through a video that has to do with all these icons and all these characters, and all these characters are characters from our favorite game, you know, Marvel Future Fight. But I took a comment a couple of hours ago and I was like, yeah bro, I need to go through that. I need to make a tier list, but also explain to new players how lead and support works on Marvel Future Fight, because believe it or not, there are people out there wondering what I'm talking about through my videos. And this is the dude, Shinobi Central 232, asked me how to know a support and a leader. And yes, I'm gonna go through all by one all the characters actually in the game that can provide a leadership for a leader, you know, can be a leader actually. Leadership and lead, it's a different thing. It's kind of confusing. I'm gonna explain this too. But I'm gonna go through all characters of Marvel Future Fight. I have like 120 out of 270. And it's almost half of the characters that actually has useful lead for PvP, PvE, or a support for PvE and PvP. So I'm gonna make a tier list dropping for all meta leads for ABX, ABL, meta supports for ABX and ABL, but also, you know, useful supports for PvE and useful lead for PvE and PvP, guys. All the Alliance Conquest leadership that leads that you need to have to go through Alliance Conquest and all PvP modes. So if you're a new player, I'm gonna explain one by one what means lead, what means support, and give you some examples. If you are a veteran that you actually want to get all the characters for Alliance Conquest in a row, I'm gonna drop it for you. Or, you know, you wanna make sure that you're using the meta characters for ABX and ABL. So yeah, new or not, stay here. Before we go through the content, actually smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and thank you everyone for the comments and everything you are dropping, because helps me go through content and make even more videos for you. So let's go back to the game. And you're wondering, you know, how can I figure out what's a lead, what's a support? You can do that. This is something that they have added right now into the game, and you can go there and see into the character page on boss battle means PvE and arena means PvP, and they're telling you here that the character is damage dealer as an example for Psylocke. So you can either go one by one like this and figure out. You can see that C is a support, but yeah, this is inaccurate. You know, the game provides you the fact that C is giving you support but doesn't explain shit. I mean, C is not good for PvP support, but they have here, you know, C is a support. C has a specific support for specific characters, and the specific characters are elemental type characters. You can get this from this last uniform, but it's a possibility for specific for Storm. So if you, another way to go and figure out which one it's support or lead instead of going one by one, it's depending on the game mode you want to compete. You know, let's say World Boss. If you go here into the very start, the very first stages, like stage 1, let's say that you can choose all the characters. You can come here, choose support, and see supports in the game. But still, I mean, they have as support here Strife. I mean, this is inaccurate in game 2, you know, Strife is a support, but you can't go and pick support from Strife into this game mode. You actually lead in the game means the character you're choosing in front here. You have a team of 3, right? The team of 3 you have, it's the leader. This is a leader. There is another thing that you need to pay attention, that in game actually they have the word leader another time, and this another time it's here on the leadership tag. This is something different. I feel like they confused when they was translating all this, but this leadership tag, it's actually on the abilities of the character, and it's something special that you don't need to consider if you want to pick a lead. The leader is this character here. It's the leader. The leader provides a buff that gives you the opportunity to go against World Boss Legend, ABX and ABL and having easier time, you know. Here, if the boss is a male, you're doing 65% more damage to the boss. This is one of the most busted supports in the game. Sea-Hulk provides crazy good lead, and you need to consider that if you have the character here, you get that lead. When you're finding this lead, you're finding through the skills of the character. If you go here, you can see, she says, leader, lawyer up. The lawyer up leader, it's always the leader skill. Actually, it's always in the end, and you are getting advantage of this skill only and only if you use the character as leader. There are some exceptions, but here is what matters the most to understand. It's that if you want to get a good leader, you need to check this buff and go and put him into this place. For support and for damage dealer, doesn't matter where you're gonna put them. You're choosing if you put support here or damage dealer here, you don't have problems. So to form a team, most of the times in Marvel Future Fight, PVE and PVP, you wanna choose a leader, a support, and a DPS. For PvP, sometimes you would choose one leader and 2 DPS, or vice versa, also for PvE, but most of the times you want to focus on doing damage on PvE with one character, because the character is going to perform better, you know. If you have one charging his tier 3 skill, or say, you know, charging their tier 4 skill, you're doing more damage. If you swap out the character for another character, you're gonna stay back in the DPS you're doing, and you prefer having a character providing you a support instead of a lead. A legit, let's say, support to use, let's say here it's Mystique. Mystique provides a buff to, it says, applies to all allies. And for all allies, you're getting 45% damage against villain and 50% against hero. You need to understand that these tags, superhero and supervillain, it's really important, and also the fact that there is some restrictions on what you're using as lead and support. Let's say as an example here, if you're using this character like Polaris, which says applies to mutant allies only, you're not gonna get something with a character that it's not mutant, which is, let's say, Sarah Rogers. So in this case, you're not getting the buff of Polaris. You need to be careful what you're picking, and also you need to be careful that if you, let's say here, I have a skill that says damage against supervillain. You need to make sure that this thing here, it's supervillain. All the World Boss Legend, right now, it's supervillains. There is no heroes. But for World Boss Ultimate, let's say as an example, there is Cable and Wanda and Quicksilver, I think, that they are heroes. They are not supervillains. So you need to be careful what you're choosing. This is just for World Boss Legend. For PvP, there is something else that you need to consider, but this is the easiest way to go. It's to go here, press, let's say, leader, and figure out yourself which leadership is the best for you. Let's say if you have Hela provides 60% damage to all energy attack, 60% increase energy attack. You need to understand that the damage dealer like Sarah Rogers need to do energy attack. Where you're figuring out what your character do, when you are in the first page here, the energy attack, it's in the top. If you have another character that has physical attack, like Ant-Man, you know, you need to put your imagination, like Star-Lord doing something with energy, you know, he's shooting with guns or doing some magic shit, but Ant-Man is hitting you physically in your face, you know, works like that. But to make sure, you can come and check here in this tab. So this leadership of Hela, it's really useful for Sharon, but it's not useful at all for a character like Moon Knight. Moon Knight provides, it needs physical attack buff to get advantage of it. So you need to be careful what leadership you're picking and what character you're using. If you're picking a leadership for physical attack, you're not gonna get damage for let's say for energy attack. Yeah, and same thing for the support buff. So let's go for another thing that it's really important in the game. It's PvP. An example of PvP, it's timeline battle, but in my mind the best case scenario to go and check leaderships for PvP, it's Alliance Conquest. If you go into Alliance Conquest, you can see I'm using some specific teams, and you're forming the teams like that, you know. I'm giving you just here a small example, but to be honest, the easiest way to go through and figure out it's through this page. The leadership, this is the team I'm using for timeline battle. For timeline battle, Alliance Conquest, and anything that has PvP on the name except Otherworld Battle, because you can't set leader there, you need this lead. This lead remove all debuff means that, and it's better from all attack, means that when your character getting stunned, when your character getting web up from Spider-Man or paralyzed from any of the enemy skills, this thing here pops out, remove the debuffs, and for the 12 seconds gives you remove all debuff. You know, all these 12 seconds you can't get again the web, you can't get something. So, and you have a cooldown for 20 seconds. So there is an 8-second gap with this specific lead. There is different leaderships, but having exactly, you know, here it's exactly the same. It's 12 seconds and 20 seconds cooldown, but you also get an extra buff. So depending, but the point is to see remove all debuffs. You need to have a leadership to say remove all debuff for PvP at any cost. If you don't have that, you're losing it. There are some, you know, some rare examples for characters, like let's say Wasp is the free to play and the OG all remove passive ability, and there is this ability remove all debuffs through passive, so you can use a damage lead if you have here in your group and use someone else's lead and here a support. There are some rare examples like this, which is Angel here, Sue Storm, and I think there is one more, but I can't figure out right now. I'm gonna put it on the tier list, but yes. So at all costs for PvP, you need removal debuff, and for sure for World Boss Legend you need a lead that gives you damage, and also you need to care about the support, if the support actually provides you support buff or not, or else you're having a support and you're getting nothing through World Boss Legend. So let's go into the tier list and check out one by one the characters. Actually, this is gonna be boring, so perhaps I'm gonna fast forward it for you. But yes, let's start from somewhere. So yeah, because there are a lot of characters, I tried to do, you know, as less as columns I could do. The first two are, you know, the characters that you need to have for Alliance Battle Extreme and Alliance Battle Legend. The second and third are characters that you can actually use for GBR or World Boss Legend, and they're legit really strong. And the bottom two is PvP leads and PvP supports. PvP supports, it's something that there is, you know, it's really specific because there are not a lot of characters providing you a really good PvP support, and actually the PvE support provides you PvP support too sometimes, so it's not 100% accurate, the PvP support there are other characters you could use too, but yes, I'm gonna give you some really strong examples like Hela, let's say, which is a really good PvP support, or Colossus. So let's start from somewhere, and one of the characters I would go for first, let's say, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna let you see how I'm gonna progress through, and yes, I'm gonna fix it later on the fast, you know, I'm gonna do it fast or something, because it feels like there are a lot of characters here to go through. So let's start. So yeah, it was harder than I thought, but yeah, pretty much for ABL and ABX, the leaderships are way less than supports because the fact that a lot of characters, like let's say Magneto has a self lead for ABX, so you're using him to buff himself and you're using double support. So that's why you see way less characters for lead on the ABX and ABL. But yeah, you can see here Misty Knight, it's an example that gives you 20% cold, 60% cold damage, which is the best leadership for Luna Snow, for ABX and ABL. So this character is the lead for multiple days of ABX and ABL, and that makes sense. You know, there is only like 5, 6 on this list. You have to understand that also doesn't mean that if you go and take whatever character from here, you're gonna get the results you're dreaming of, you know, because as an example, as I was saying before, every single lead and support is for specific characters. So I'm having here these characters, but you need to understand, let's say Abomination, it's a great lead himself too, but if you are using Hulk, you're using him as a support character to provide your Hulk an extra damage and 10 hit damage, because he react with Hulk as a gamma radiation character. So yeah, there's so many information and so many details that I couldn't make the list to make more sense than this actually. I'm gonna drop a link of the list. I'm gonna do it online so you can figure out yourself all the characters. You can go and play and fix your own list, of course. It's gonna be open for everyone, and you can drop your list into my Discord server. There is a specific channel to drop tier lists there and discuss about them by you know. So here, as you can see, this is all the leads and all the supports you're actually using at all for ABX and ABL. They're not a lot, but if you have all these characters, you can actually go and get the maximum out of scores you would do if you have also all the tier 4 characters, etc, etc. But yes, I'm dropping this here just for you to see. Also, I haven't ranked the leaderships, you know, one by one. And also I could add, to be honest, Gladiator and Wanda, they're self-lead characters and they're really useful for ABL and ABX, so why being in the PvE generally. But for PvE, as I told you, characters like She-Hulk has a really good support leadership that provides it against all the enemies, except if they are female. Mr. Fantastic, it's just a self-lead for all Fantastic Four. So in this kind of characters there is some restrictions that you need to understand, but this is something that you need to actually read yourself. You're not gonna go and put, let's say, Blade with anyone. You need to use characters that they are weapon masters, as an example. Or Nick Fury here, it's on support, and also I put Ironheart, yes. Here, even if they have a really good lead, you know, you can combine their support with another leadership, or you can use them as lead and support in the same time. There are some characters having great lead but also a great support, and these two are a great example from that. But also a great example is these two characters. Let's say this character need your characters to have fire tag and the electricity tag, or I'm not sure how it's called. So you need to figure out yourself what the characters you are going to use. Also here, these two are only for Guardians of the Galaxy. Do not go and build the characters without reading what the characters providing. Also a really good support and lead is Green Goblin or Suri. Suri didn't make the cut for the ABL metas, because you actually using Misty and you're having better better results with Luna. But if you don't have Luna and you're going to use Gwenpool, or you're going to use Spider-Gwen, Suri is also one of the best characters to use as lead and support for ABL and ABX. After that, we're here into the PvP support, and all these characters except Rescue have the remove all debuff for themselves or a specific characters. As an example here, Mephisto, I think he provides that, no, lies, not Mephisto. This one for sure provides to all Guardians of the Sky only the removal debuff. This one do that only for the symbiote. This one do it only for himself. You know, Deadpool also only for himself. But yes, there is characters like Sentinel here that he's doing for everyone. Also, there is only for X-Men, only for villains. So you need to figure out yourself if these leaderships are going to work for your team for PvP. And also for last, I have some supports here that can provide you the removal debuff, as I told you before, these three providing that, and there is a fourth, yeah, it's Strife too. It's Strife and it's that too. I can't remember his name, it's Exodus actually, yes. These 5 dudes provide the remove all debuff as passive ability for everyone in the group. If I remember right, this specific it's only for X-Men, so you can use Exodus lead and provide also the damage he's doing and as a passive to all the removal debuff. Also, Colossus considered one of the best PvP supports, and I have him here first. He's not providing something like removal debuff, but he's providing a really strong ability, removal damage taken from heroes and villains. She-Hulk also, it's a great lead for PvE, but she provides all damage, all damage reduction, 15% damage reduction. Hela provides damage reduction from heroes. Ebony Maw, damage reduction from universal types, all these characters providing you with one way or other PvP buffs that you have to consider, but still there is some restrictions, like Jessica Jones here provide only to defenders. This dude Sunbird provides revive to all allies that they are Warriors of the Sky. He's doing exactly the same for all Fantastic Four. These two revives all the team up. No, lies. This do them immortality. This revives them. Yeah, okay. So yeah, pretty much you can understand all the characters need the last uniform to be used like I'm telling you here. Thane, let's say, doesn't, but Malekith needs that. Malekith without that does not provide this leadership. As an example too. There is others too. Rescue, it's the only that does not provide the removal debuff, but you can use here because here leadership provides you a shield. There is other characters actually doing really decent supporting for PvP, with HP, and you can combine, let's say, a lead with HP with a character doing remove all debuffs passively, or a lead like this. So yeah, that was it pretty much. I hope I helped you decide what to build next for lead, for PvE or PvP. Yeah, MODOK is a really good leadership for PvE, I know, but 45% energy attack made it here. Doctor Strange also providing also ignore dodge. And yes, there's so many information that I wish I could provide on one video, but hit me down below in the comments if you have any question on this tier list. If you think something is wrong, if you think I forget a character, because I made it just here for you and for the comment, the dude from the comment. Thank you again for the comments. Thank you for all the support. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you are fine, everyone. See you into the next. Kisses in your faces.